This one, it's got people talking, that's for sure. Melania.
Yeah, yeah.
It's stark, black, her name, that's it. Bold, feels very deliberate, you know?
Definitely. It's Melania on her own terms, even before you open the book.
Exactly. So we're diving into Melania Trump's memoir. Well, more of a, I don't know, what would you even call it?
It's being billed as a memoir,
Hmm.
and it does cover her time as First Lady, her childhood.
Right, but it's not giving tell-all, is it?
Not the traditional sense. There's a lot more curation going on here, for sure.
Okay, so let's get into it. What's got everyone buzzing about Melania?
Well, it's interesting, right? You've got this minimalist cover, just her name, and it plays into this whole persona,
It's
right?
the enigma, the
Exactly. Controlled, deliberate. And to be fair, she does offer some glimpses into her life, her childhood in Slovenia, her early career.
but then we get to the White House years and
And that's where it gets really interesting because she's very selective.
like with the Rose Garden renovation.
Exactly. She talks about that in detail. The historical research, her design choices.
But it's all through this lens of like her personal taste, not really about the political storms happening around her at the time.
Exactly. And that seems to be the running theme. She focuses on things like her Be Best initiative, fashion choices, state dinners.
Stuff we already know.
Precisely. And what's more intriguing is what she doesn't address, or how she chooses to address it, I guess.
So you're talking about the elephant in the room, the controversies.
Yeah. Access Hollywood, for instance.
Yeah.
It's barely a footnote.
And January 6th. I mean, that's gotta be.
She touches on it, but only as it relates to her Be Best campaign and how the negative press overshadowed it.
So a deliberate choice then, to frame it that way, I mean.
It definitely seems strategic, and the timing of the release right before a major election.
Can't ignore that. So what's the game plan here? Is this about reshaping her image? Is it about, I don't know, influencing the election?
It's hard to say for sure, but it's definitely sparking conversation, which could be the goal in itself, right?
And the critics are divided too. You've got someone like Carlos Lozada praising the writing, but also pointing out the lack of, I don't know, emotional depth.
And then there's Pamela Paul, who called it self-preservation, basically.
Which honestly kind of sums it up, doesn't it? The book feels as much about what's left unsaid as what is said.
Absolutely. It's like looking at a carefully constructed portrait. It's beautiful, it's technically impressive, but you're always aware that there's another side, another story hidden beneath the surface.
So where does this leave us? What do we take away from Melania?
I think it's a reminder that, with Melania Trump, things are rarely as they seem. This memoir, whether intentional or not, raises more questions than it answers. And maybe, just maybe, that's the legacy she's aiming for.
The enigma continues.